everyone, I'm Janaya.
And I'm Marvik.
Welcome back to another episode of Nicest Word on the Street.
Today we're here at PS78 asking questions about learning.
That's right, we're here to find out what students and staff members love to study and how they get excited about education.
Come on, let's go hit the books. Hello, who am I here with?
Hi, I'm Sandra Ayala, one of the social workers for NYCID.
Who am I here with today?
Miss Lopez Garcia.
What do you do here?
I'm the assistant principal.
What was your favorite subject when you were a student?
One of my favorite subjects was writing,
What did you like about that?
that I can put down my thoughts and be as creative as I wanted to be.
What was your favorite subject when you were a student?
Well, when I was a student, one of my favorite subjects was history.
What was your favorite subject?
Well, my favorite subject in school was history. I had a teacher named Mr. Shapiro in the 7th grade who made history and social studies come alive. I never liked social studies before that because there was like a whole bunch of dates I had to remember. But then he made social studies and history like a story. And I started memorizing stories, which helped me with learning social studies and history. I started to see social studies and history like storytelling, and I love stories.
Okay.
Did you have a teacher that made you love this subject?
Oh, good question. I had quite a few teachers that inspired that in me. I can't think of an exact story at this moment, but I have quite a few good teachers.
Did you have a teacher that made you love this subject?
Oh, yes, I remember his name was Mr. Otero. That's the reason why I love history. He made me want to be interested. I did my homework. I always look forward to go to his class.
How have you used what you learned later in life?
So like the lesson that I learned later in life, how am I using that now? So life is about growing, right? And I'm a lifelong student. Just because I graduated college and got 2 master's degrees doesn't mean that I stopped learning. So I learn every day. I learn, and I take every opportunity to learn, even from people who may not feel like they're teaching me. Like for instance, you teach me every day, right? Jathan teaches me every day, right? I read a lot, so I'm learning every day. So, and those lessons that I do learn, I try to apply it in my life so that I'm continually growing. I like to grow in life. So if I learn, for instance, recently, just a true story, I learned 2 weeks ago how to change my own brakes. You know how I learned? YouTube. I went to YouTube University. I typed in, how do you change brakes for a 2019 Chevy Impala? And I followed it step by step, and I changed my own brakes. Now, so far, I've been able to get to and from work and home safely, so I think I did a pretty good job changing my brakes.
How have you used what you learned later in life?
Well, I have to write every day when I write emails or I write letters to the parents. I write for myself to make myself feel better at the end of the day, to write down some of my thoughts about how my day went. So, yep, I use writing every day.
How have you used what you learned later in life?
How I try to also use the same energy he used when I'm working with children and throughout my life, even when I'm teaching or doing homework with my kids when they were children, when they were younger.
How do you encourage students to get educated about learning?
So I encourage students to get excited by educate. So how I educate students to get excited about learning is I make learning fun. I am animated, I'm lively, I'm loud, and sometimes I'm quiet, but I like to joke around. And whenever I teach, I always bring in a life lesson into it so that they can be engaged in it. I don't want my students to think that school is all about numbers and words, and we can learn in so many different ways. Numbers and words will help us in the future, but I want my kids to know that in my class we're going to have fun learning. And I remember as a kid being in a classroom very different than how we have classrooms today, where we were in rows and we looked up in the board. The teacher wrote some stuff in the board. We had to write that down, and that was our class. I want my kids to have discussions. I want us to have fun conversations. I want us to joke. I want us to laugh. I want us to look at, YouTube videos that are entertaining about the lesson that we're learning. I want learning to be fun. So I encourage my students to get excited about learning by making learning fun for them.
How do you encourage students to get excited about learning?
I would say depends of the children, depends of the kids. I like to use a lot of visuals and make it really fun for the kids and use the language that they could understand.
How do you encourage students to get excited about learning?
Well, thinking about what they like to learn, finding really good books that they enjoy, and then that helps spark their love of learning.
Do you have anything else to say?
I'm very happy to be an assistant principal here at PS 78.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Quick question.
Yeah.
How do you think about how do you think your boss thinks about you turning it around and making kids know more than what you teach?
So I think my boss feels pretty positive and pretty good about me turning things around for my students, and because that's what teachers do, right? Our goal is to teach you guys something that you may not have known, and I think if I'm doing that, my boss is going to be like, all right, good job, Mr. Harrison, keep it up. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Bye.
Later.